Let's get a move on then and focus in on the CV sector, whether or not we are seeing the CV down cycle running its course, and are we seeing a recovery in the CV space? Is that around the corner? To discuss that in further detail, we have Ranbir Singh, President and CEO at M&HCVs. Also joining in is Vidyashankar Krishnan, who's the VC and MD at Forgings. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking time out and joining in. Mr. Singh, going to come to you first. How close, according to you, are we to the end of this CV down cycle? Are we going to see volumes trough out by the end of FY21?
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me today morning. Actually, CV market is down for last more than 1 year, and it is not at all picking up. And we are hopeful from November onwards, there is a hope in Q3 onwards. Some improvement we can see can move. You know, it all depends upon the government policies, scrapping policies.
Okay. Mr. Krishnan, what are the feelers that you're getting from some of your key clients? When are you seeing a meaningful ramp up in orders, and how close, according to you, think that we are at the end of this down cycle for the CV sector?
The CV sector is just starting to operate now, and after a hiatus of 2 months, just starting to lumber along. So there is virtually, demand is just trickling in. And with freight movement also being low, I would say that we could see a pickup at best around the festival season, or expectation is that the close to pre-COVID levels, we would see that by end December or early January. I don't see it happening earlier than that.
Okay. Mr. Singh, if you're still saying some time before we actually start to see some kind of revival for the CE segment, do you see M&HCVs leading the rebound? Will LCVs continue to gain more traction? How do you see the trend panning out?
Definitely, when CV market is pretty down for last more than 1 year, but local traffic and within the city, or I would say a short run kind of traffic. So LCVs and small vehicles, small pickups, they are doing better than CV.
Okay, and what about agri equipment, Mr. Singh? What's that looking like?
Actually, as you know, M&HCVs in domestic market, we are 70% our revenue comes from tractor market, tractor segment. But in the beginning, first Q1 and Q2, our revenue from agri is more than 90%, because CV is not performing at all. They are working at the level of 10 to 12%. So our revenue from domestic market is more than 90% is from tractors. Tractor is doing very good. So they are performing more than 125% as compared to last year's average. And because April and May, they were not able to produce anything, so it has created the gap of 20% production loss in the beginning of the year itself.
Okay. Mr. Krishnan, the pandemic has also reduced the availability of financing, as lenders are now exercising quite a bit of caution, particularly to weaker borrowers. And that forms a significant customer base for CVs. Are vendors and dealers also facing these finance-related challenges like the fleet owners?
Yeah, I'm sure that this will have an impact. The lack of availability of finance, and also tremendous caution exercised by banks and financial institutions. So all this is going to result in a 9-month ramp-up period, let's say between June and December of this year. And we should see some kind of stability returning in Q4 of this fiscal, Q1 of next calendar, that is. the credit worthiness of borrowers as perceived by financial institutions.
Okay. Mr. Krishnan, when do you see the export market also start to recover? Any initial trends that you're seeing there?
The export market has behaved totally different compared to the domestic market. In fact, I would say that globally speaking, the domestic CV market is perhaps the only one that is bucking the trend. Tractors are doing well in India. Two-wheelers have started to pick up. Cars are already close to 90 to 110%. Take your pick of the manufacturer, because the demand for personal transportation has gone up within India too. The M&HCV sector in India remains to be is the only black sheep in the family. Globally, if we see again, there is a huge demand for personal transportation. I am told that people are no longer using flights to travel across Europe and US. As a result, rental cars are on a huge upswing in both geographies, and as a result, cars are in pretty good demand over there. We also have seen that offtake. With regard to trucks, I have data for June, particularly with regard to both Europe and US. I would say the US market in June 2020 has exceeded the June numbers of 2019. Reason being, in my opinion, June 2020 represented 3 months, actually. It represented the demand of April, May, and June. So in that respect, from that viewpoint, the truck market in the US has probably outshone the previous year as far as June is concerned. July onwards, both Europe and US, we expect the truck market to go along at about 70 to 80% of pre-COVID levels in the respective months. Overall, the rest of the world, the sectors seem to be doing pretty well relative to what we expected and the impact of COVID would be. Overall economies have boomed up, have firmed up, but the CV sector, the M&HCV sector in India continues to be low, probably representing a slowdown that existed long earlier, and that was manifested in the last 1 year and exacerbated by COVID. So the CV sector is showing those signs.
Right. And Mr. Singh, reports say that VRL Logistics, which owns the largest CV fleet in India, won't be buying new trucks and will get rid of the old ones to rein in the repair costs. At a time when large players are taking such a step, fleet owner associations are resisting the purchase of new trucks. What makes you optimistic about the recovery, and what do you think are the key triggers?
Actually, this is the fact basically because fleet owners are just sitting idle, so their financial strength is affected. So that's why in fresh loans and fresh debts to buy the new vehicles. So they are not taking that step because they will be heavily loaded with interest payments and others, because already CV market is very, very low. This to restart. To kickstart the cycle, it will take time. It can take 6 to 8 months, can take another next year, it can happen, So, or government comes up with some good scrapping policy or refinancing of the vehicles. So then this thing can start, this cycle can start a bit early,
All right, we'll let you go on that note. Mr. Singh as well as Mr. Krishnan, thank you for giving us a heads up as to what the situation is when it comes to the overall, CV outlook and whether or not we are seeing, the demand picking up and things returning and resuming normalcy.